and Caesar's gonna hit Spear with the right-left combo. He then jumps up and slams his arms on Spear's back, and that must have been the last straw for Spear, cause he got so angry that he started shaking, and he was shaking so fast I thought bro was about to tap into the Speed Force. Please do me a favor, if you haven't already, subscribe and like the video. We kick off with Spear tied up in vines looking like he's taking part in a new form of bondage, and he's just now waking up as he got knocked out earlier by the monkeys who abducted him and brought him to this arena. He looks over to his right and it turns out they got Fang too. My question is, what are these vines made out of? Adamantium? Because T-Rexes apparently also weighed around 5,000 to 7,000 kilograms. So are these vines infused with vibranium? Cause they have her hanging from a very high spot. We then see this lineup of these 5 giga gorillas. The shaman ape is then gonna draw a circle in the ground and they're gonna surround it. After getting far away from these behemoths, the shaman signals them to get active, and they do so. We got this gorilla here and I'm gonna call him Caesar. Why? Because why not? Caesar's gonna jump up, land near bro, and start playing the bongo drums with his head. He rushes over to the next ape that's to the right side of the screen, but Caesar's gonna get hit with a stiff arm. However, he manages to parry bro's arm, grab it, and he snaps that bitch in half. And that move had bro hitting high notes like Frank Ocean on the New Slaves outro. We're gonna cut over to this other ape that I'm gonna call Cobra, because why the fuck wouldn't I call him Cobra? And he's fucking shit up as well. This ape rushes him and he proceeds to pummel him into the ground. I'm crying, bro really hit the Caleb 6. And once Cobra was done with bro, his hands were covered in all red like he was playing with some strawberry jam. Cut back to Caesar and this ape pulls up on him and digs his teeth in his elbow. Caesar then punches him off and that kicks off this amazing exchange. Ape number 4 swings at Caesar and he misses, but he's gonna follow that up with a down smash and have Caesar looking goofy. That's when Caesar hits him with the backhand and punches him in the chest. This has to be one of the meanest stank faces I've ever seen. Caesar's gonna pull out his breakdancing moves and send bro out the frame. After that, he finishes the job and now it's just Caesar and Cobra left. Bro, look at this size difference. This is Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul all over again. Cobra reaches for Caesar, but he's gonna jump up and spam the same move from before. Hey man, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But Cobra's gonna grab him and throw him out the screen. After that, he Naruto runs over to Caesar just to be hit with a slip and get flipped over. And this is when Caesar finishes the job. The shaman then taps his staff on the ground to get his attention. This is when Fang gets lowered onto the ground and this dude Caesar starts licking his lips. At this point, I started getting scared for Fang's T-Rex ussy, because why is he licking his lips like that? The shaman then gestures for Caesar to pick which skull he wants, and he does so. Caesar then approaches the platform the shaman is standing on and he's gonna drink their equivalent of the heart-shaped herb. This transforms him into the super gorilla, and the reason they lowered Fang was so him and her could go head to head. So Fang cuts herself loose and runs over to bro. I was sitting here rubbing my hands ready to see Fang cook up, just to see her get the taste slapped out of her mouth, and that shit had her dizzy. Fang might be the first dinosaur to get CTE. Caesar's gonna emote after that and get the skull he pointed at. So now it's time for round 2 and Caesar does this, and to me this is disrespectful as fuck. He's rocking the skull of a dead triceratops and starts moving like one. This has to be the equivalent of blackface. Caesar's gonna close the distance, but Fang is gonna weave and take a bite out of his elbow. But Caesar must have had enough of niggas biting at his arms as he grips the hell out of Fang's neck. Now, considering that dinosaurs are the ancestors of chickens, would it be right to say that Caesar was choking the chicken? I'm sorry. Caesar tosses her to the nearest rock, then he's gonna rush over, hit her with an uppercut, then slam her face into the ground. Following that, he holds her over his head like she's a championship belt and throws her to the ground. He's gonna walk up to her and break her leg.
She was a cripple. Yeah, she was a cripple. Yeah.
Caesar proceeds to add insult to injury and holds her up by the tail. He's really treating her like a BAFTA. Spear sees this and is like, yeah, this has to come to an end. He gets out the vines and stops Caesar from making him have to put long-lived Fang in his IG bio by shoving his fist in his eye socket. However, Caesar grabs him and throws him away. That's when Spear looks up to the shaman and sets out his next destination. So he's gonna climb up the pillar, throw the shaman off the platform, and participate in the use of steroids. The white apes are gonna come in and try to stop him, but it was too late. He transforms to this Hulk-like creature, and damn, did this nigga just become Somali? Spear then jumps off the platform, and this is when the fun begins. They both run at each other, and Caesar's gonna hit Spear with the right-left combo. He then jumps up and slams his arms on Spear's back, and that must have been the last straw for Spear, cause he got so angry that he started shaking, and he was shaking so fast I thought bro was about to tap into the Speed Force. Spear then retaliates by lifting him off the ground. Caesar's gonna yell at bro and run to him, but Spear wasn't here to put on a show, so he wraps up this fight immediately as he's gonna grab Caesar by the arms and rip them off. And do you remember how Caesar was spamming that one move? Well, Spear's gonna use it against him. I think this is what they call poetic justice. Now, considering that Caesar's out of commission, the rest of the apes pull up to jump him, but all their efforts were worthless. For fuck's sake, look at what he does to this one ape. He smacked him so hard, he turned into a crinkled bag of chips. That's when the apes who are still untouched do what they should have done from the get-go and run. But that was useless because Spear then starts moving like Prime Hulk and wipes them all out. And you know how it is being a main character. The job's not finished until you aura farm.